The year is 2026, and the city streets are fast and loud. Down below, neighborhood kids spend their evenings playing until sunset. But for 15-year-old Tony, those streets exist on the other side of a glass barrier. Tony secretly saved for a pair of football cleats, and one evening he stood by the door ready to join a match. His father, Cooper, didn't look away from the television. He asked if Tony had studied and helped his mother. When Tony said yes, Cooper told him to sit back down. To Cooper, running in the street was a waste of time. Tony removed his shoes, while the sound of his friends laughing drifted up from the pavement. Cooper is a man shaped by years of hard labor at a factory. He views the world through a struggle that never ended. In his house, emotions are seen as a weakness, and dreams are considered a distraction from the work of staying alive. He told Tony repeatedly, "Friends won't help you, and football won't feed you." Tony obeyed, first because he was scared, and later because he grew used to the disappointment. His childhood ended because adult survival demanded his full attention. This diagram shows a standard family structure. In high-stress environments, the hierarchy can invert. This is parentification. A child is forced to carry the emotional weight of the adults. We see this as dependency arrows flow directly down into the child node. Tony's mother, Dina, was exhausted by debt and the atmosphere of the house. Late at night, Tony would find her crying in the kitchen. Instead of being comforted, she became the one who needed an anchor, and Tony, at 15, became that anchor. This role extended to his two younger sisters. Whenever tension rose and Cooper shouted, the girls instinctively looked to Tony. He became their shield, helping them with homework and using his small savings to buy them snacks just to see them smile. Tony kept his family safe, but the cost was his own identity. He locked himself into the role of the strong man, a hollow persona that left no room for his own needs. During his final year of high school, Tony studied with a desperation that looked like passion. But he wasn't driven by a love for engineering. He was driven by the need for a stable job that would allow his mother to finally breathe. When the university acceptance letter arrived, it brought a rare moment of relief to the apartment. Dina cried with pride, and even Cooper acknowledged the achievement, telling Tony he had finally done something right. On the university campus, Tony found a world of unregulated freedom. He saw people living without fear, staying out late, and talking openly about their futures. It was the exact opposite of the environment he had navigated since birth. Tony arrived on campus without the internal compass required for this new world. He had spent his life reacting to the pressures of his father's house, and without those walls to push against, he didn't know how to stand on his own. This chart tracks the impact of sudden freedom on a mind wired for survival. When the line for external threats and rules plummets to zero, the internal dysfunction spikes. Without a crisis to manage, the survival brain struggles to find a baseline. Tony began to chase the adolescence he had missed. He skipped his lectures, stayed in cafes for hours, and played football until dark. For the first time, he was prioritizing his own fun over his duties. The results arrived that summer. Tony failed his first year. In an afternoon, he lost the spot in the engineering department that he had spent years trying to reach. Tony's failure was the direct result of his survival mechanisms. For years, his discipline was a reaction to his father's anger. Once that threat was gone, he had no internal drive to replace it. The same compliance that kept him safe at home left him unable to govern himself in the real world. When Cooper learned of the failure, he exploded, accusing Tony of wasting their sacrifices. He told Tony to act like a man and fix the mess he had made. Tony stayed silent throughout the confrontation. He didn't argue because his identity as the family's protector was gone. He saw himself exactly as his father saw him, as a failure. That night, Tony sat alone on the edge of the rooftop. Below him, the city moved with an indifferent rhythm, its lights stretching toward a horizon that felt further away than ever. He buried his face in his hands and cried in the dark. These tears were the result of the realization that no matter how hard he tried to be the man his family needed, he was still breakable. This is the price of growing up too early. Moving to a new city or getting into a good school doesn't erase the past. A functional adulthood requires a foundation of safety, not a childhood